Hello all, my name is Rahman and welcome back to my YouTube channel. And in this video today we are going to talk about frequency count method in data structures and algorithms. If you remember, in the last video we have talked about how to write and analyze an algorithm, right? And before that we talked about the prior analysis and posterior testing. And in the last video, as I said, we talked about the how to write and analyze an algorithm. There we learned some of the things like time complexity and space complexity. So we are going to use the time complexity in this video at an example. But first of all, let's talk about what is frequency count method. As I said you in this video, I'm going to talk about frequency count method, but I'm going to talk about 3 to 4 things. The first one is what is frequency count method, and the second is how it works. Third is why it's used, and the fourth one is I'm going to show you that, explain you that with an example, and I'm going to implement that example using the Python program. Let's get started. First of all, what is frequency count method in algorithms, in data structures and algorithms? First of all, for explaining that, I wanted to give you an example. Okay, let's say that we have a data set which contains the disease. Okay, disease names, some people names, and their location. Now, if I ask you a question that, and one thing is that the data set has around 1 lakh lines. Okay, now if I ask you that from the data set, I'm saying that from the data set there are only 3 types of disease. Okay, now you have to, from those disease you have to find one disease. Now let's say that we have a dengue, so we have to find that how many times the dengue is there on that, right? But you can do that by pressing the control F button on the Excel. If it is there on the Excel, if I give you that on the in other things, you can do that, but first of all it's going to waste some time. But using the frequency count method, we can find the common elements in an array or in a data set in algorithms. Okay, frequency count method is a technique used in algorithms to count how many times each unique element appears in a given data set or a given data or a given array. Now, as I said, you have given the example, right, where we have the disease name, 3 types of disease only. That is, the first one is dengue, let's call that, and here we have given the location and the person's name. And if I say that find the disease name, find the disease name at a particular location. Okay, now you have to search for a location. Now you have to search 2 things in that Excel file, right? But using the frequency count method, we can find the common elements in a given data set at a time in 2 columns. We can do that using the frequency count method. This method is used to find the most frequent elements or to determine the distribution of elements in the data set. In simple terms, it's a way to count how many times each element appears in a list or an array. Okay, now I'm going to explain you with these things with an example. So I'm going to take a Python program and then explain you. Let's get started. Now, as you can see here on the screen, that here we have an image, right? If I move my camera here, now we have an image. In that we have written a Python program where we have defined the function known as sum, and here we have given the parameters known as a and n. Okay, and then we have the s, which is a variable which is equal to 0. Then we are calling this for I, integer, and all of this stuff. Now you may be thinking, wow, what is the use of this program? Now this program is used for finding the common elements in an array. So you can use here the data set, but you maybe not have the data set or there will be some problems, so that's why I'm using here the array example. Now here this program is used for finding the common elements in an array. That's why I have used that. Now we are defining the function as sum, and here we have given the parameters. The first one is a and the second is n. Now why I have given here this one like a and n? What is the reason, right? So the reason, basically in algorithms we don't define the functions, we don't define that, but here for just an example I'm explaining this one. Here the value of, so here the a is an array, so the value of a should be something like 8 5 whatever it is. So I'm going to just give the 5 elements in that array. So this is a, so this is a, and it's equal to, let's create an array where we are having the 8 7 and 5 6 3 1 2 3 4 5, total we have 5. Okay, now here the value of a is this one, so these are the elements in an array in the value of a. Now here what will be the value of n, right? What will be the value of n? Now the value of n, we have to find that, right? It's pretty much simple. Now here we have how many elements in this array? This is the first, second, third, fourth, and this is the fifth, right? So these are the 5 elements in this array. Now in Python, what we do is we find that we count the array from we count the indexing is going to start from the 0 in Python program. So that's why we are saying that this is 0, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, and this is 4. So the indexing programming is going to start from the 0. So here we have the total of 5 elements. If I count the 0 as 1, is 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we have the 5 elements total. So the value of n is 5. Now what this program is doing? This program is finding the sum of all elements in an array. Now we have defined this function a and n. Now in the value of a and n, now we have given the value of s. S we have given, which is equal to 0. And then you may be thinking, why I have given here the a? Why we are not defining the a here, right? So the reason is that while we have defining the function, we have to define the parameters. We can define that, but here I have defined. The reason is that whenever you have to change the value of a then and 5, then you have to go there and change, but while giving it as the parameters, it's pretty much simple. Now here we have defined the function and we have the s equal to 0, and this is we have the for loop, which is for I in range. We are creating a new variable. In that variable we are storing this value of n, which is 5. It's if it is in the range. Then we are recreating a variable known as s. This is not this s that we are calling, this is another s. Let's call it as s2. We can, this is the s1, this is s2. Now this is s2 equal to s1, so s plus a, right? So it's calling the old one, which is s equal to 0 plus a. The value of a is 87563, and then we are calling the n. What is the value of I? It's 5, right? If it is in the range. And at the end, the bottom line is that here we are actually finding the common elements, adding the common elements in an array, right, using the Python program. Now here let's find the time taken by, let's analyze the time taken by this algorithm. You may be thinking that why I am calling this as an algorithm. This is a Python program, why I am calling it as an algorithm? Yes, this is a Python program, but here we are calling it as the algorithm. This is because, as I said you in the previous videos, that algorithm is not a language. It's something, it's a thing. It's used as the step-by-step procedure, right? So it's the step-by-step procedure for solving or doing a specific task, solving a specific problem. So here we are doing a specific task, right? So here we are using these steps. That's why we are calling this as an algorithm. Now let's analyze the time taken by this algorithm, right? How do we do that? So we can do that. We can find the time taken by this algorithm by assigning 1 unit of time for each of the statement, right? Now, if the statement is repeating for some number of times, the frequency of that statement, of that execution of that statement will calculate, and we can find the time taken by that algorithm. We will find the time taken by that algorithm. So it's pretty much simple. So here I'm going to do that with an example. Now guys, as I said that I'm going to explain this. I'm going to analyze the time taken by an algorithm on example. So this is what the example here. Now here, coming back to here, we have defined the program. We have a program where we are defining and we are actually finding some of all elements in an array, in this array, right? But here the question comes is that here we are analyzing the program. But here how to analyze that, right? How to analyze that? So the one thing that we can do here is that we are defining here the s, right? First of all, here we are defining the s. Now here I am not going to use this defining this def, and the reason is that here in the algorithms, as I studied, that we don't define the functions. We don't define the functions in the algorithms, whether it's in a programming language. That's why I have, for just an example, I have showed you this one here right now. But here we have created a variable known as s equal to 0. Now, one thing I told you is that for analyzing the time taken by an algorithm, we have to assign 1 unit to a statement, right? So here we have a statement which is 1, right? We can give it as the 1. So this is s is 1, so this the value of s is 1, not the value, so it's going to be 1, let's say. Now we have the for I in range, and so basically we are creating a new variable known as I, and then we are saying that if it is in the range, then use the n. Check that I equal to 1, I equal to 2, I equal to 3, I equal to 5 till that time. Okay, I'm going to explain that here. I, okay, this is I. First of all, it's going to check for the what? It's going to check for the 0. Okay, then it's going to check for the 1. Okay, then it's going to check for the 2, then it's going to check for the 3, right? And then after that it's going to check for the 4. I is equal to 4. Now after that it's equal to 5 finally, but here it's going to stop here itself, here, because here we have used the for loop. So every time, each and every time, it's going to repeat that. So for loop means it's going to repeat that in that loop, and then at the end when it is coming at a point, it's going to stop there itself. That's why we are giving here this one. So the value of it could, this one could be, I'm going to give it as n. So let's find the value of this one later on. Now here we are going to give the s as 1 all, for s also 1. Now here what's the value of this not value, what is this one, right? How we are defining this and this one. Okay, now here if you expand this one for I in range, in the n we are giving the n. If you expand it, then we are going to give the value of I equal to 0, then we are going to give I is less than or equal to n, all of those stuff. So it's going to come that all of the stuff in the C program. If we expand that, it's going to come that in the C program, but in Python program we are going to write something like this. So when I expand it, it's going to be n plus, sorry, it's going to be n plus 1. Okay, sorry, now here this is going to be the n plus 1, and then here we have the s, right? Now we have the s for this one. Now what is the value of this one? What is the how we are going to assign to this one? For this we have defined this as n plus 1, but for this it's going to be n, and the reason is that it's also going to come in the for loop itself. That's why here we are giving it as the n. Now here how will you calculate that one, right? So here I am going to give the bar. Now in the addition, what we do is, if I give 1 plus 2 plus 1 plus 2 plus 3, you have to give in something like this, and you are going to add that and do all of the stuff. Right here also we are doing the same thing. We have to add this one. What is n plus 1? We have the 1 and all the stuff. Now let's write here the output here, which is n plus 1 n and 2 we have, right? Now we have the 2n. How we are going to give it, right? 2n plus 3 we can give here, right? Now before adding this, I want to say one thing, and that is, in algorithms there will be something called as functions. If you have done the maths, then you know that while doing the graphing and all of the stuff, you have to give something like p and then x. Px equal to, we have to write the value, x equal to whatever it is, we have to write that, right? In algorithms also we have to do the same thing, and that is, here we have to give the function name as, this is function of n, which is equal to 2n plus 3. So we have the 2n, this is the first one, this is the second one, right? And this is 1, this is 2, this is 3. These are, we have the 3 ones, which is equal to 1, 2, 3, right? So this is what fn equal to 2n plus 3. Now this is how we are going to analyze the time, but here we have not done that detailedly. So I'm going to show that in the next video. So anyway guys, that's all for this video. I hope you liked this video and enjoyed watching this video, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and I will see you all in another tutorial. Thanks for watching. Thank you. Bye bye.